So the next thing we're going to do is start adding some stuff into our room. And the important things here are going to be the microphones and the cameras. Because remember that with Speaker Spotlight, what we're basically doing is we're taking the audio data from the microphone or the microphones, and we're associating that with our cameras. We're going to be controlling our cameras with that microphone data. So that's why we need to add those in, because it's going to mean that the system knows where the mics are, where the cameras are, and that's how it's actually going to control those cameras. But just before we get into that, one other little thing, and that is furniture. Really, the reason for adding this in here is that if you've got multiple different furniture layouts, you can actually move the furniture between those layouts, which is obviously not something you can see in the floor plan. If you do have furniture on the floor plan, it's kind of static. Now we can see here that we do have a table and we do have some chairs, and I want to just add those in using the furniture section. So let's have a look at the furniture section there. Let's click on the plus button, and we can add a chair or a table or a display. Let's go ahead and add a chair, and it's just going to chuck a chair in the origin there. Remember, anything you add is going to appear in the origin first. That's where it's going to show up. Now let's just look at moving this furniture around, because it's very easy to just start moving stuff, and you might think it's in a certain location, and then you move the camera and you realize it's up in the air or something. Okay, it's not too difficult to do that. I'm just going to press undo and move it back to the middle there. So for that reason, when you move things, you want to be a little bit disciplined about it. If it's something like furniture, you probably only want to grab the Y arrow and the X arrow like that. So you're never moving it up in the air. You might have chairs that are up in the air. If you do, that's very, very cool. We don't have those here. All our chairs are on the ground. Now, a kind of shortcut is you can grab the square that's in between the two axes you want to move. So if you're happy with Y and X, the green and the red one, you can grab this square, which is blue, in between the two, and now you're only moving it along the ground. Okay. Now the rotation, we also have that with these curved bits here, so same deal, right? You want to make sure you grab the correct rotation axis, and for furniture you're probably only ever going to use this blue one, so you're rotating it about the Z-axis, around the Z-axis, which is that blue one, something like that. And of course we need to add our table, so same deal, we're going to hit the plus button under furniture, we're going to select table, and our table is going to appear over here at the origin there. Now I'm just going to grab that blue square once again and move it around. And of course, we can see that we've got a kind of wedge-shaped table on the floor plan. And we don't have wedge-shaped tables here in VisionSuite Designer. But it's okay. This isn't The Sims, right? We're not trying to make the perfect, most beautiful layout. This furniture is really just to help us to visualize those different furniture layouts if we have them later on. So I'll just set you a little challenge now. Can you move the table to roughly the correct place and also play around with the scale controls to have it the right kind of length and the right sort of width as well? Give that a go now. Cool, so hopefully that's all done. Adam, how did you get on with that?
Yeah, all good, thanks. Actually found that my chair looked a little big on the plan as well, so I've made that a little smaller.
Yeah, nice one. Yeah, I've got this very long table here, which is, again, like roughly the right sort of size. I'm not sure about the sort of structural rigidity of this table. Might need another leg in the middle, but hey, who cares? It's just a nice little visual guide there. So with that, it's now time to add some actual hardware. So this is where we're going to be adding the cameras and the microphones. Now, I think we should start out with our camera, okay? So this is going to be in the inventory, all right? You see that inventory bit on the side? And we can just hit the plus button there. And the inventory is really where it's any stuff that is technically relevant to the system. So you're going to see here microphones, cameras, VisionSuite accelerators, and markers. So let's go ahead and add in a camera. And it's going to come up with a big submenu here. Now, if you're just designing the system, not all of this is going to be relevant to you right now, so don't worry about it. The important things that we need to think about here are which camera. Right now, it's chosen an NC12X80, which is totally fine. The other one is the type of camera in terms of how it's controlled by VisionSuite. And right now we're doing speaker spotlight. So we're really talking about controlling the cameras using that microphone data. It's probably fair to say that for almost all audience facing cameras or cameras facing people sat down at a boardroom table, for example, you're always going to want to use speaker spotlight. And let's give this a name as well. So let's just call this something like front camera 1. And this name doesn't technically matter. It doesn't change the way anything works. But the name here is just for organization. It's just how it's going to look in VisionSuite Designer. It just helps us keep ourselves organized. So with that, we're just going to hit create. And like anything else, it's going to appear at the origin. And what I'd like you to do is just put that at around head height, front and center in the room. So we're looking down the table and we want the camera to be kind of around head height, let's say around 1.2 meters off the ground, pointing down the room. Off you go. All right, Adam, how are you getting along with that? Did you find where to type in values for the camera's position?
Yeah, when I first clicked on it, I was like, oh, where's that gone? And then remember it's under transform, so yeah, all good.
Yeah, that's right. So because the cameras have got a lot more going on other than just where they are, there's these 3 sections, right? Setup, containers, and transform. So if you do want to type in specific values here, let's say 1.2 meters off the floor, that's where you could click on it. Then you could go to transform. And if you wanted to manually type that in, you could do that as well. Now, later on, we're going to be having much more elaborate camera setups, multiple cameras, but for now, we're just going to have this single one. And of course, we also need our microphone, okay? So, same deal. We're going to go to the inventory. We're going to hit the plus button, and you guessed it, we're going to choose microphone. And it's the same kind of idea. So we get this submenu. We can give it a name. Let's just call this something like mic 1. Don't worry about the IP address, the port, that's going to come later, but we do want to worry about this. We've got 2 options today. We've got the Shure MXA920 and Sennheiser Team Connect Ceiling 2. Now, these are going to give you largely similar performance in terms of their pickup radius. The benefit of the Shure one is it is also going to give us talker height information. So that means if people are standing up or sitting down at the table, it will actually correct the camera's tilt for that, which is kind of nice. And we do have one of those in this room. So we're going to choose the MXA920 there. And what I'd like you to do is to put this microphone at the ceiling. The ceiling is 2.6 meters up in the air. And I want it to be centered over the table, but towards the front. Let's say the front third of the table. So off you go, give that a go right now. All right, lovely. So Adam, you good with that? Yeah? Is your room looking absolutely amazing? Yeah?
It's looking good.
Like something out of an IKEA catalogue?
Exactly.